In this series, we are going to be implementing a basic pathfinding system using the A* algorithm. What's going to happen is we are going to randomly select a target tile, which we're going to highlight with the color red, and then we're going to have our character, which is a circle, pathfind its way to the tile. Once it reaches the tile, a new random tile is selected and the process repeats over and over again. But in this specific video, we are going to be drawing our map, drawing our NPC, and then finally selecting our tile and highlighting it with red. Alright, so let's get started. So I already have some code up here. I basically use this in a lot of my videos, which is why I didn't actually type it out here. So I'll just briefly explain it and then you can just copy it and then we can go from there. Okay. So this line, it just imports everything that's in a Tkinter module. Then I created a root class for our root window, and it inherits from the TK class. And then I gave it a title, which is just A*, and then I set it its state to zoom, which is just full screen. Then we have our if name equals main here, and then here we are actually initializing the root window, and then we're calling the root's main loop. Alright, now we can actually get into it. So the first thing we want to do is draw our map. So we're going to set a map size. So I'm going to do self.map underscore size equal to 20. Then we're going to set up our canvas. So I'll just do self.can is equal to canvas self. We're going to make its parent the root with self. And I'm going to just give mine the background color. And then I'm going to display it with the pack method. So self.can.pack. And inside of there, I'm going to do fill is equal to both. I want it to fill both the X and the Y axis. And then I'm going to set its expand to 1. Okay. Now we're going to actually make the function to draw the map. So I'm gonna call it draw map self map size is equal to self.map underscore size. Can is equal to self.can, and then can dot update. What I've noticed with using the canvas, if you don't set a specific size, whenever you get the canvas's width and height, it always comes back as 1. So if you're having that issue, you should always try to update the canvas first. And that normally works for me, which is why I included it. Okay. So now we're going to get the width and height. So can underscore width is equal to self.can.winfo underscore width. Then can underscore height is equal to self.can.winfo underscore height. Next, we're going to calculate the tile's width and height. So tile width is equal to canvas underscore width divided by map size. And tile underscore height is equal to can underscore height divided by map size. Alright, so now we're going to do for each row and range, starting from 0 and going to map size. Then for each column in range, 0 map size. We're going to calculate our 2 sets of coordinates that we need to create a rectangle onto the canvas. So our first set, we're going to start with X is equal to column times tile underscore width, and then Y is equal to row times tile underscore height. Now for our second set, do X1 is equal to X plus tile underscore width, and then Y1 is equal to Y plus tile underscore height. Now we can actually draw the tile onto the canvas with can dot create rectangle, and then we're just going to pass in our coordinates. So X, Y, X1, Y1. Now we're going to save, and then we're going to go up here in our init function for our root, and at the bottom we're going to do self.draw underscore map. Save and run that. So if you did everything correctly, you should have a tile map. how many tiles is in it is of course going to be dependent on whatever you put for the map size. Okay, so now we're going to move on to drawing the NPC. So we're going to give the NPC some default coordinates up here. So self.npc underscore x is equal to 0, and self.npc underscore y is also equal to 0. Okay. Now we're going to go underneath our draw map method and add draw underscore npc self. Okay. Alright, so our NPC is going to be represented with a circle. So we're going to need to start off with the tile width and a tile height. So tile width is equal to self.can.winfo underscore width divided by self.map underscore size, and then tile underscore height is equal to self.can.winfo underscore height divided by self.map underscore size. Okay. Now we're going to set a scale variable, and you can change this if you want. I'm gonna set mine to 0.5, and this is going to determine how big the circle is, essentially. All right, next we have to calculate a diameter for the circle. So we're gonna do diameter, if I can spell it correctly. Diameter is equal to min. And so we're going to choose the smallest out of tile underscore width and tile underscore height, because there could be a case where your tile width and your tile height aren't the same. So we're going to just choose the smallest one, and then we're going to multiply that by our scale. Okay. Now, just like we did with our tiles on our tile map, we have to calculate two sets of coordinates for our circle. So we're going to do x is equal to self.npc underscore x times tile underscore width plus tile underscore width minus diameter divided by 2. Then we'll do the same for our y. So y is equal to self.npc underscore y times tile underscore height plus tile underscore height minus diameter divided by 2. Okay. Now for our second set of coordinates, we're going to do x1 is equal to x plus diameter, and then y1 is equal to y plus diameter. Okay. So now we're actually going to draw the NPC onto the canvas with self.npc is equal to can self.can.create underscore oval. We want to pass in our coordinates, so x, y, x1, y1. And I'm going to give my circle a color. So fill is equal to, I'm going to put in a hex color. Okay. And then I'm going to make its outline a little bit thicker with width. The default value for width is 1, so I'm going to just make it a little bit thicker with 2. Alright, and so now we're going to go back up here to our init function, and underneath draw map, we're just going to do self.draw underscore npc. Alright, let's run it. Alright, and as you can see, my NPC is right here in the top left corner. Alrighty, so that looks good. Okay, so our final step in this video is to randomly select a target tile for our NPC to start moving towards. So I'm going to go up here to the top and do import random. And then underneath our draw NPC method, we're going to do a random target method. So define random target self. Alright, so the first thing we're going to do is self.target underscore x is equal to random.randint 0 self.map underscore size minus 1. I'm going to just copy that again and just change this x to a y. for self.target, self.target underscore y. Okay, so now we just selected our coordinates for our target tile. And so now we have to actually we're going to draw another rectangle on top of that tile, but we're going to make it red to make it obvious that that's where the character needs to move to. Okay, so we're going to do tile underscore width is equal to self.can.winfo underscore width. Then we're going to divide that by self.map underscore size. Alright, so I'm going to just duplicate that, change tile underscore width to height, and then we're going to change this to height also. Okay. Now, again, just like before, we have to get our two sets of coordinates. So we're going to start off with x is equal to self.target underscore x times tile underscore width. We're just going to duplicate that. And then we're going to change this x to a y. And instead of target x, we're going to do target y. And instead of tile width, we're going to do tile height. Alright, so now for our second set of coordinates, we're going to do x1 is equal to x plus tile underscore width. Then we're going to do y1 is equal to y plus tile underscore height. Okay. So now we're going to do a try. We're going to try, and then self.can.delete self.target underscore rectangle. So, say for instance, if we already have a target rectangle, we're going to try and delete it. And what should happen is you should get an attribute error. So we're going to go down here and do accept attribute error. So if we get an attribute error, we're just going to pass and act like there's nothing wrong. We're just going to pass right past that. Then down here we're going to draw another rectangle. So we're going to do self.target rectangle equal to self.can.create underscore rectangle. And then we're going to pass in our coordinates. So x, y, x1, y1. And then we're going to make it red to kind of make it more obvious. So I'm going to save that. And of course, we're going to go up here underneath draw NPC. We're going to do self.random underscore target. And I'm going to save and run that. And as you can see, we have a red rectangle right here. So if we had already implemented NPC movement, our NPC will be gradually moving towards that. So let's just test it a little bit more. So each time you run it, it should be in a different location, like a different target tile should be selected. Okay, so that's pretty much it for this video. In the next video, we are going to actually implement the pathfinding. So stay tuned for that. And thank you for your time.